Я подписываюсь, передаю настройку. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
If they want to.
We're going to make it a requirement. They have to. They go.
Or they can bring
Yeah, hell yeah.
Sure.
Okay, cool. I'll bring my pajamas.
There you go. I like those, the track suits with the Adidas stripe.
No, I've got the legit. I've got like the Red Dawn jumpsuits.
Oh, you do? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
You
I've
know
got
they-
a couple of the old burlap over uniforms they used.
Oh, you have that too? KZ,
Yeah, I had a couple of those.
KZS or some KZM?
Yeah.
Yeah. So do the experiment one time for somebody. Like, let's say you take the multicom jacket, which by far now universally considered to be probably one of the better ones. And it is in like a dusty, sandy kind of environment. But you take it and you hang it, like, let's say, against a bush of some sort, right?
Yeah.
And then you take one of those, which is only 2 colors, right?
Shit, I think I've got it. I think I've got one of them like right here. Oh shit.
What are they called?
The overalls, the scout overalls. I think one of them is called the
here we go. I
KZM
got
and
a
the other
set
one
here.
is KZS or something. One is more like a dark, kind of swampy green with the yellow pixel.
But what
Like
what is it?
spots.
What camo? What's the camo code?
I think it's KZM. Yeah, there you go. That one.
KZM.
And this is
This
like
is
a
the
burlap.
pants.
It's a see-through, yeah. So
Yeah,
you
it's
put it
weird.
right
And then there's the
over
top.
your uniform, yeah. And then
There's
the
top.
hood's
It's like a
got-
hoodie. It's just like a
Right.
hoodie.
And the hood's got the veil on it.
Turn your
And
blur
the-
screen off, Andrew.
I didn't turn it on, dude.
I know it automatically comes on.
Mm,
Let's go to the 3 little dots.
we'll back. There we go.
Now we can see it. There you go.
So
You
the
got, like-
hood's got
So
a
the
veil.
hood.
Yeah, it's got a
here,
veil
You can see through it
over
here.
your face, yeah. And the sleeves are extra
through it.
long to cover your hands. And then there's a button. You can roll them up and button them up, yeah.
Yeah. This is
And
pretty cool. I got a couple sets of this. I've got this color, and then I've got another set that's
more yellowish.
actually it's the green is it's more of a brown, less green and more brown
Okay.
on that other
So,
set I have.
and you take that jacket and you put it against the bush on a sunny day,
Yeah.
and you walk away like 20 yards or something, you won't be able to see it.
Or more like this.
Here's a
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
this isn't my older one, but this is a cool jumpsuit too. That pattern. And this is a solid like overall, like coveralls with a hood.
Yeah.
These are
One
my
piece,
pajamas.
right?
That's the one I
Yeah.
just pulled up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
It's just a
cool.
button.
And look at the
Button on.
spots there, Marty. They look pixel, right?
It looks
They're
like
not
Versace is what it looks like.
Yeah, that's the newer one. I've got the old one with the white in it somewhere. I just don't have it handy.
Right, and they right angle kind of squarish pixels.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
one that the older one you're talking about, the green with the gray.
Yeah.
If you turn it inside out, it's got the mesh type, like the square matrix type of. That's a
Pattern on the
that's
inside, yeah.
pattern, right? It's the combat the night vision.
Maybe we should do a episode on camo, Marco.
I think we should, yeah.
That'd
That'd
be a good episode to do.
Yeah,
We
absolutely. And
Never done that.
it's something when I used to run the sniper school. That's we had the whole section on the camo and stuff and camouflage when it comes down to snipers and stuff.
Yeah.
And all this nonsense with the freaking ghillie suits that they have to bury it in the dirt and then pick it up and do this and this, all this Hollywood movie bullshit. It takes very, very little to make you disappear within like 20 freaking feet that they won't even see you. And then you don't need a ghillie suit. But, like this new, what is it, ACU camo, the U.S. Army camo?
Yeah. It's
For
terrible.
100 yards and you're in the firing line, it shines like a freaking neon spot.
It's
Until
terrible.
it until it gets dirty. Like
Maybe
really
that's the
dirty.
whole purpose.
Especially like
is
if it's been washed
supposed to
3 or
blind
4
them.
times, it just glows.
Yeah,
It's supposed to blind the enemy. It's like wearing mirrors.
right.
Yeah. Most of the actual combat units don't wear that anymore.
No, it's all multicam now.
Yeah. If they can afford it. Otherwise, they just pull out whatever they got and mix and match. I've seen that.
Take it off a dead enemy. Wash off the blood and off you go.
So it's probably what the Ukrainians are doing.
I don't know. I mean, they're probably wearing those nice,
Yeah,
$1,000 track suits. All the money.
The Russians are stealing their shit.
Yeah, all the money we're sending.
Well, I mean, all the POWs, like captured guys. I watch them every day. There's like 10, 12 of them. They all dressed. I mean, there's some exceptions, but most of them are pretty good. The Ukrainians.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the entire freaking NATO supplies.
There's no reason why they shouldn't.
Yeah,
be.
Yeah, they should be have pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
There's like there's insulated, like not the down, but I'm sure it's some kind of like a polar tech or some kind of fiber. The under jackets, like poofy jackets. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
All kinds of fleece, with the zippers and whatnot, and spots for patches and name tapes.
Well, let's get started. Let's talk.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's talk light machine guns today. So, lead heads, welcome in, especially you AK lead heads. This is our monthly edition of the Talking Lead AK Corner. It's our 5th year of the AK Corner. And joining me again, as you've heard in the background there, is my co-host, Marco Vorobiev. Did I say it right, or I jack it up every time?
It's better than my wife, and we've been married for 34 years. So
I guess that's a good thing then. So welcome in, Marco. Appreciate you joining us again.
Of course. I mean, I wouldn't miss it.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of called this episode also. So light machine guns.
I have a lot to say, so I'll be rambling on.
Oh, that's good. And we may cut you off and cut in and interrupt, but I doubt it. We're just going to sit here probably and take notes. But Leadheads, if you didn't have an opportunity, make sure you go back to last month's AK Corner, which it was another awesome information, educational field episode where we talked bayonets. And we had Professor Paul Markle join us. And Rich Nyman, who wrote the book on the USMC, the M9 bayonet. And as you're listening to this, you probably just heard another episode with Rich on it, because as promised, we had Rich, Commander D.T. Coulter, and C.J. Buck talk about the new, and I'll hold it up again here, Buckmaster 2.0 combat diver knife. So that was a really good episode, and make sure you go check that out as well. And support our guests and buy their books. Marco's book, we've talked about it on here several times. We can't do an episode without holding it up. Is the survival and evolution of the world's most prolific gun, the AK-47. And we're trying to figure out a way to get Marco paid on this book, but I guess
I just mentioned last episode that my last royalty check was $26. So, he wouldn't even pay for the book.
No, Marco's getting shysted on his royalties on this book, because this book is selling. They're selling a ton. And
self-published through Amazon next time.
Probably, yeah. Well, I didn't know that the publisher would go out of business and he had to be bought like a penny and a dollar by other companies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, there's probably some kind of legal ramifications you've got, but that's another episode. But go and buy the book, and then that way he can build the traction for his new book when it comes out.
Yeah, I'll just write another book, a better book.
Yeah, or just rename this one and just republish it.
I don't think I can do better than that one.
This is a really good book. Yeah, I got to admit, this is a really good book. And
it was a labor of love, I have to say. I mean, it took me 6 months to do it.
And Professor Paul's got a new book out also, How to Shoot Better Than a Navy SEAL. And I'm about 2 chapters in right now of this. So another great book by Paul Markle, and you can go to Amazon to get this one also. And, of course, Rich's book, it's out of my reach right now, but just go on Amazon and search Richard Neyman, Neyman, and his book on the Buckmaster original. He did like a history of the Buckmaster original, and then the M9. So go support our guests. Buy their books. And Andrew Brenneman is back. Ladies and gentlemen,
Howdy, folks.
Joining us this episode. Is this your first time this year?
No, I was on earlier this year. I haven't been on in probably 6 months, though.
It's been a while. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
Andrew's been living the married life.
Well, the first part of the year was getting ready for the wedding.
Yeah. Yeah.
The first 4 months of the year, I was pretty covered up.
Yeah, I don't think we talked to you since before the wedding. I don't think you've been on here since after. So it was before the wedding that we had you on.
Yeah.
And what a wedding
back.
it
Happy
was.
To be here.
We're glad to have you, and thank Morgan for allowing you to bow out tonight.
Oh, I didn't know it was an option.
You never know till you ask. Thank goodness you asked, right?
Absolutely, exactly.
Hey, Leadheads, Dwight Settle with Seal One. Just here to talk to you and tell you a little bit about our product. Seal One CLP Plus is a bio-based, non-toxic product. It comes in a paste, liquid, aerosol, and pre-saturated bore-specific patches called sealskins. They all do the same thing, just different methods of application. The best way to use our product is to start with a clean firearm. There's 2 reasons why I say that. First, you start with the Seal One CLP Plus by field stripping your firearm and covering the entire firearm inside and out, bore, barrel, everything with the Seal One CLP Plus. You'll see how easy it spreads around. You'll want to wait about 15 to 20 minutes. Then you come back and you want to wipe it all off. So you see how easy it is to put on and remove. And the second reason we say to use a clean firearm is you'll find that it's not clean. We're going to pull out more carbon that's been left behind with whatever product you've been using before. Okay, it takes about 3 cleanings. So I like to say a clean shoot, clean shoot, clean shoot. Just normal usage before the Seal One CLP Plus has removed whatever product that you were using before and has seasoned the firearm. It's kind of like breaking in a cast iron skillet. And after that first cleaning, you will notice a difference. And with each successive cleaning, you will find that it gets easier and easier to clean. Seal One CLP Plus is a dry lubricant and is designed to work as such. You will find that malfunctions are virtually eliminated when used properly, because the majority of all malfunctions are caused to carbon buildup. And with the Seal One CLP Plus, the carbon does not build up. Seal One CLP Plus is safe on all metals, plastics, composites, polymers, rubber, wood, and leather. Seal One CLP Plus is a one-and-done formulation. No other products are required or needed to clean and lubricate and protect your firearm. That's why we say Seal One and done. Seal One is a proud sponsor of the Talking Lead podcast and the Leadhead Brigade. Use the code LEADHEAD for a 25% off discount.
So this episode is going to be about, as we mentioned earlier, light machine guns. And we're going to talk a little bit about the history. I think we're probably going to focus more on Russian-style light machine guns, although I know Marco's going to know about every one of them. So we can do that. But let's kind of talk a little bit about how the light machine gun came to be. What need did the military have to fill there with the light machine gun? Where did they see that need?
The need appeared, obviously, in the trench warfares and the frontal assaults of World War I. And though there was some attempts were being made before the onset of the World War I by European designers, weapon designers and stuff, before that, based on the warfare that the people seen the development of the modern warfare at the time. And most of them derived from, most of the machine gun designs derived from, attempts to make a rifle, the battle, main battlefield rifle, into something automatic. And it's to the point where you had this wave after wave after wave of infantry assaulting your strongholds and your trenches and your trench lines and your defensive positions. And the only way that you could do it is if you had a sustained full automatic fire. And the early, there were a plethora of designs, weird and not so weird, submitted at the time. But there, obviously you have to kind of concentrate on some of the successes that they had in the machine gun design. And those would be obviously the Maxim.
Right.
That particular machine gun was, it was belt fed instead of magazine fed. And I guess the biggest advantage of that particular gun was that it had a jacket over the barrel that would take the water and thus make it water cooled. And you didn't need to replace the barrel as long as you had the water in that jacket. Sometimes they had to require a separate tank with the additional hose. So that gun would not stop. It would keep on firing and firing and firing to the point where as long as the Maxim is firing, they're not taking out positions. Obvious downdraw of a Maxim design was it was a mounted on the base, right? So with the wheels and stuff, but you could, it's two people pulling that thing.
You usually had to have a team to handle that thing. You couldn't have just one person.
So it was a three man team. Sometimes they would, disengage it. They would take the body of the gun off the base, and a guy would carry the base. The other machine gunner would carry the actual body of the machine gun, and the number 3 would be carrying all the ammo. But the biggest thing is carrying all this heavy stuff. They usually fall way behind the advancing lines, and then they have to plop it down, set it up, charge it, and then fire it. So the attempts were made to make it more of like a light machine gun, but they didn't really, like something that would be supported on the bipod rather than on the wheeled mount.
Wheeled or tripod, yeah.
Oh, tripod, yeah. So you had people like one of the successful designs was obviously a great American military officer by the name Lewis that used two innovative things. So Lewis machine gun fired from the bipod. It did not have a belt type of fitting. It had this looked like a tin can, a drum, so to speak, device sitting on the top. But another innovation there was this forceful cooling of the barrel. So there was a jacket there with you could see the fins there where the exhaust will come out. And it was basically as the hot air escapes that particular enclosure, it would force the cooler air to come in and cool the barrel. So this thing was so successful that even the Russian Empire bought a bunch of them. And they were going to build a factory to manufacture those in the
Soviet Union?
in Russia, Tsarist Russia.
Russia, okay.
Right. So they came in, they built the factory. Now that factory is known as Degtyarev factory in Kovrov, but the manufacturing of Lewis machine guns never actually commenced because the Bolsheviks took power and blah, blah, blah. So no more Tsarist Russia and so on and so on. Another one, leader in the light machine gun category, if you can call it that, was a French designer by Chauchat.
Shosha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that particular gun was fitting out of box magazine, mounted from the top. We're so accustomed to magazines, right? And nowadays, because everything we pretty much touched got a box magazine. And I'll just show you this thing right here. That's obviously the AK. Well, it's RPK 40 rounder RPK magazine. I just learned why they have the ribs, and a lot of people say, "Well, to make it make it stronger and stuff, right?
Yeah.
To give it a little bit more structure to the sheet metal." Well, it's not. It's to reduce the friction of a round on the magazine as it goes up, being pushed by a spring. So
Okay.
it's not
That's metal on the
solid,
sides.
right? Metal on metal. And I didn't realize that until recently. I was like, oh, yeah, of course it makes sense. Not so much on the plastic, but the metal on metal is, any kind of corrosion would the spring is just it would slow the spring down.
Right.
The effort. Anyway, so all of this.
The Shosha. You were talking about the Shosha.
Yeah, there you
it's
go.
a
Yeah.
weird looking.
See, that's the reason why they made those cutouts. Well, one way to see how much ammo you got left, and of course to reduce the friction. Oh yeah, it's fit from the bottom. There were several other guns that had the magazines actually inserted from the top.
The Bren was one of those.
Brand, yeah.
Had the magazine.
Interesting fact about that machine gun: when the U.S. first entered World War I, we didn't have enough machine guns, and our troops used that pile of shit.
They did, yeah.
Yeah, for quite some time at the beginning of World War I, the U.S. troops used that thing.
Yeah,
and they fought from the French.
They were notorious for being, like you just said, pieces of shit. The parts, the parts from the same rifles weren't even interchangeable. Of the same type rifles.
As the most guns back then, other than like the mass-produced, sort of like most of the guns, the Lee Enfields or maybe 1903s or something like that. But most of the machine guns were literally the guy there with the file, making it work and stuff as intended. So anyway, there was a bunch of other stuff you would look at it and go, oh my God, how is this thing even produced? But the fact was that all the armies involved in World War II did not have enough machine guns. Just simply didn't have enough machine guns. And even Tsarist Russia entering into World War I, one of the guys exclaimed saying, why don't we have a machine guns which French produced by hundreds of thousands? That's a quote from one of the military brass. Mm. So the need for a machine gun was definitely apparent during that time. And so going into, kind of out of the World War I was born the necessity for a light machine gun, not just a cruiser Maxim, but something that the soldier could carry and deploy rather rapidly. So the Germans under Versailles Treaty, of course, they couldn't openly produce stuff, but they were doing it. They came up with a few designs of their own, and then kind of apexing it with the MG34 that they adopted, belt-fed machine gun that still was sort of like a cruiser. You still needed the tripod at the time. Somebody had to carry that, and then a bunch of those cakes, they call them, the little drums that had, I forgot how many rounds are per drum. But nevertheless, it was kind of took them, leaps and bounds ahead of everybody at the time. Until the MG42 showed up later in World War II. So Russians definitely were interested in having the gun of their own. In fact, two guys kind of cooperated. Famous Fedorov, who created that automat, Fedorov automat select fire rifle, and then the Soviet government sent Degtyarev to be an apprentice under Fedorov tutelage to
Vasily?
to create the automatic. Who's that?
Vasily say the last name?
Degtyarev. Yeah.
Degtyarev.
Degtyarev. And and of course they took pointers from all kinds of other designs, including Lewis. As a matter of fact, the Lewis forced barrel cooling system was recently employed by the Russians with their new replacement to PKM, which calls PKP Pecheneg. You don't have to replace the barrels. It's got the forced air type of system, cooling system, which is pretty cool. Made the gun much better in every aspect. I mean, its body is still Kalashnikov, but the barrel from the
This is their newest ones?
Yeah, PKP Pecheneg is the name of the gun.
PKP.
Yeah, so anyway, moving on. So in 1927, actually, they started working on it in 1924. In the 1927, Degtyarev comes out, releases his DP-27 machine gun, which obviously we know as, I have it, but I didn't bring it down.
What? What do you mean?
I showed it the last time.
Yeah, but this is the episode about it.
Not necessarily. What is it about? About is like all around me here. So I did.
Okay, all right. Well, I've got pictures I can pull up.
DP-27 is famously known as the Stalin's. That's the Pecheneg.
Yeah.
If you look at the barrel looks kind of uncharacteristically thick, right?
Yeah.
But it's that a jacket around it, so to speak.
And it's air and how does the air get into that? And we're talking about
so the hot air expands
PKP.
and it starts to escape, right?
Okay.
And as it escapes, it creates a vacuum, so it pulls the new air in.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it pulls the
air
from outside.
This one, you don't change the barrel on this one?
You don't, no.
Okay. Cool.
And that handle right there up top serves as two,
you can slide it off.
Two heads. One of them is the carry handle, and the other one is to spread that mirage, that haze that come off of hot air.
Is that Putin calling you? Giving away their secrets?
In fact, it is, yeah. I don't know how to... Anyway, it's probably like, hi, this is time to enroll into Medicaid. They don't know that I'm only like 56 years old. They think I'm 90. Anyway, but so here we go. So DP-27 was a machine gun that Degtyarev came up with, and immediately they start producing it at that Kovrov factory. And there was built and kind of designated to build the Lewis guns, but so a Degtyarev DP-27, I absolutely positively love the gun. It's kind of on the heavy side for what it was, because if you look at the receiver of it, it's just a solid chunk of steel, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yet you look at it and you see how ingeniously simple the gun is. I mean, everything from bolt carrier to the bolt itself, the way it locks, everything is just like, God, man, I had enough knowledge. I could have designed it in the 7th grade, so to speak. Of course not, but that's the impression you get when you first disassemble this gun. And so he had its own quirks. Obviously, that 47 round a disc.
Disc, yeah.
You know, they call it drum. It's a disc magazine. Well, dictated by fact that Russia still used the rimmed cartridge, and this type of system was, or this type of feeding system was more conducive to that.
I got to shoot one of these when I went to Poland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it has no recoil because it's so heavy and stuff, and
it was nice. It was nice to shoot.
It's one of my favorite machine guns to shoot. It's little capricious. Maybe it's mine only. Capricious in the way of doesn't eat everything. It kind of tries to, but then it rips the half of the casing off.
And what round was this shooting?
What the 7.62 by 54R.
Okay.
The standard Russian 30 caliber round. However, the soldiers kind of appreciated this gun because they can run with it. They'll grab the leg up front. You know, you have a tendency to kind of grab it underneath like a regular rifle, but there's that operating rod going back and forth, and you would probably break the tips of your fingers off if you grab it there. But anyway, they grab it by the leg, and one person could carry it and actually run together in the same line with the advancing unit, and then you just plop it anywhere anywhere you can find it suitable and just open fire immediately. So all those discs and Stalin's nicknamed Stalin's record player. It's sort of looks cumbersome, but in the way the carry bag that you're carrying is like a messenger style bag, and then they nestle in there really, tightly, and they're not really big, so you can carry a good bunch of them and stuff. And to replace those discs or disc magazines is very easy. There is on the
sight
right around the sight, you got the little spring latch that you pull back. You just knock this one off and you put another one in and slap it in and keep on going. The gun fires from an open bolt, so you don't have to rack it. You keep on going. And so again, it wasn't ideal. Okay, so the rate of fire was okay. It was around 600, or maybe a little less, somewhere between 400 and 600 rounds a minute. It was heavy. It wasn't the measurement of reliability. There's a reason why you get like a oil bottle built into your buttstock, so that you would every now and then you have this like a little weird tool with the brush, and you have to kind of clear the chamber out, put some oil in it, and continue fighting. But at the same time, the Russians had the bell-fed Maxims and stuff when they were in defensive positions, and this and DP-27 was more of a kind of assault type of gun. Now, here in the U.S., we often call it DP-28. There was no such thing ever in existence. Some game developer made a mistake and called it, and then because we know now we have two generations that grew up in the modern warfare and Call of Duty, this and this, and now they call it DP-28. It's not. There was never a DP-28. There was DP-27, and then later after the war there was a DP-M modernized. That's the one that's that has the recoil spring into this, like at the back of the receiver, and they had a pistol grip instead of a regular rifle like buttstock.
Yeah. Let me show you this real quick. I'm going to interrupt you. I found my my Poland picture. So.
Oh yeah, there you go.
There's me loading the DP-27 or 28.
27, not 28. There's
27.
No such thing. Yep, you're reaching out to pull the charging handle.
Charging handle. And I got my hand down there on that little hump.
Yeah.
I jacked something up, so he's walking me through it there. I got a video here somewhere.
Well, when you come up to see me, you can retake all those pictures again.
Okay, you got one of these also?
Of course I do.
You got Stalin's record player?
I do.
And then I got to shoot that.
So in 1943, Russians developed another mounted machine gun that was more like a modern gun, which was a big deal, a step forward in development of a bell-fed full 30 caliber machine guns, which was the SG-43, which stands for Mounted Gurunov. And a lot of people think
SG-33 stands for Mounted
SG-43, yeah.
Gurunov.
Stands for S is for Stanok, which means mount, and G stands for a guy who designed it, Gurunov. Oh, you wonder with Dave?
Yeah.
David Fortier?
Yeah. So here's the video.
Yeah. But anyway, yes, so although it was great design and a good gun, as a matter of fact, there's some of them floating around here, but it was, again, you couldn't fire it from bipod. It had to be mounted on a wheeled mount, and so on and so on. So obviously the need was, the Russians were chasing the Germans in machine gun design at the time. And it was clear that one of the things that needed to be done was the belt ability to feed it from the belt, because switching the magazines between 47 round magazines is not what. And
they wanted a longer sustainable rate of fire.
Right, and when you got the MGs 34s firing 200 round belts or MGs 42s, you obviously in disadvantage. But as we all know, in 1943, Soviet Union launched a program to create intermediate cartridge, as well as the weapons that would fire it. And the three types of guns that they identified for that program was automatic rifle, carbine, semi-automatic carbine, and then a light machine gun. And the result was RPD-44, SKS-45, and AK-47. Those three things that fired the same cartridge. And we talked about the SKSs before, but it's really and truly dead on arrival because of its
magazine and.
No, it was it was marginally better in the good hands. If somebody with an AK was, compared to the AK, it was marginally better, but that margin not large enough to warrant the existence of that gun. Although anybody who shot SKS or owned SKS is absolutely in love with that gun. It just works like a freaking Zinger sewing machine.
Yeah.
Or Swiss watch or something else.
How about a Rolex?
Yeah. Anyway, and so RPD 44, although it says 44, but it didn't really get into the military's hands until after the war, was somewhat a desired type of gun and what they wanted to achieve to begin with. So it was, it's on the heavy side. I think it's empty. It's about 7 kilograms. with that drum, with the 100-round drum, which basically a case for that belt. It has no springs, nothing. You just coil it like a snail. You coil that a belt, and you just put it in there, and you slide it on the gun on the bottom, latch it up, and it just holds the belt. Which in your videos here you showing you guys don't have one.
No, we're just doing it straight from the belt.
Right. So it was also RPD stands for the light machine gun Degtyaryov. Once again, Degtyaryov came up with this particular gun. They had a problem with the feeding, and then they had I forgot the designer's name, but he came in and he designed the whole feeding system, the belt feeding system, for that particular gun. The gun was really good. It was really like kind of ahead of its time in a way, because there was nothing else out there that was firing intermediate cartridge, full auto and belt fed at the time. So the Soviet military, having that gun at their disposal, kind of had a battlefield advantage in that regard. So so the gun was like good. It was kind of on the heavy side. However, it was kind of like loved by the troops, but again, it was a Degtyaryov, so it had all kinds of like little quirks and the maintenance issues and things like that. So he had to be specifically trained on it. So in 1951, the Soviets decided to unify most of their weapons in the battlefield, and they wanted to see a lighter machine gun that could be easily maintained by a regular soldier, and it could be interchangeable in a way. And in 1959, with introduction of a stamp receiver AKM, Kalashnikov submitted his design of a light machine gun that military kind of liked, and that was the killer of the RPD, and hence entered the RPK.
You think Mikhail had a lot to do with that?
Oh, absolutely, he had a lot to do with it. At that time, he was a guy who was walking on clouds, right? So
walking on water.
He was, yeah, because his gun all of a sudden changed the warfare in a way, right?
Yeah.
So the biggest, obviously, the attraction, the RPK attraction, was the fact that it had close to 70% of its components were closely either interchangeable or closely related to AK. Hang on just a sec, let me grab one.
You got an RPK, Andrew?
And it's basically it became a heavier AK rifle, which any soldier in the squad, which I guess we need to talk about the squad structures, and any soldier in the squad could basically run this gun without any training. The only thing he's got to do is kind of learn how to deploy bipod, really and truly. But the rest of it was pretty much just like in the AK.
Yeah. So basically what they did was they took an AK, lengthened the barrel, made it thicker, kind of beefed up the trunnion, and
that's where the bulge trunnion came from.
From the
there
RPK.
You go. Yep, that's the bulge on it. I don't know if you can.
Yeah, I see your bulge, Marco. I see your bulge.
Here's an RPK bulge. But in any case, so there was also, they added, because it was designed to fire at the longer ranges and stuff, and you can see how much thicker the barrel is compared to AK or AKM. And they added the
Windage.
rear side with the windage adjustment, which I don't know. I'm I'm a big fan of the holdovers, but anyway, and the it's designated for 1,000 meters, and a threaded barrel, but RPKs came in with a little knot, and I'd assume that the threaded barrel was more of a for mounting some kind of flat cage type of flash suppressor for using it with night vision scopes at the time. So it was okay. So advantages were it's just like an AK, anyone can run it. Interchangeability with the magazines. So get your Kleenex boxes. I'm about to show you a few things. So this is the regular stamped, 40 rounder magazine that came
The RPK?
with the early RPKs, and apparently like all the Romanian versions of it come with the steel. This particular one is kind of light, and it's done in factory number 3 somewhere in Russia. So it's got more stamps on it than a $3 hooker. Is that the correct saying? All right, here goes. Holy Grail. This is a
Bakelite.
40 round Bakelite. So
Look at
that was
that.
the next development in the magazine development for RPKs. However, I just noticed that this particular one, nobody in the world made them but the mullet. This particular one doesn't have a mullet shield, that star with the shield around it. So that was probably designated for some Nicaraguan Sandinistas or something, or some Cuban something or other, or somewhere in Mozambique. So complaints were, RPD had a 100-round belt.
Yeah.
And the AK's got 40-round mags. Well, let's say you run out of ammo, and you can just run, yell to your buddy and says, "Send me some magazines over here," and you can, interchangeability with the mags was the biggest advantage of RPK compared to RPD.
Mm-hmm.
But the Russian designers were not done with the development of magazines, and they developed something like this.
Drum roll, please. Boom, a big drum mag now.
75 round.
Yep, 70 round
That's the
drums.
front tilt European version.
Yep, that's right, not Chinese. This is a Russian version with the ratchet as you put the rounds in.
Yeah, I
So
got one of them somewhere.
you guys shoot, right? In the century, you guys brought in all kinds of Romanian stuff. Romanians copied this thing 100%.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, the Romanians are now making the copy of the Chinese mag.
Oh, they do. Okay, well, anything to make money.
Yeah, that's what they're making now. But the front tilt is all European, Eastern Europeans, more or less did that. But I've got one original Russian. I bought from Classic Arms when I was probably 17.
Man, the times we had, eh? We could buy all kinds of
I've got
stuff
a
back
couple
then.
of the pouches though. I've got a couple original Russian pouches for him too.
Like this.
Yeah, I've got
Yeah.
one like that, and I've got the later like plastic coated one.
Yeah, me, actually wind up serving in the military and serving around these things. I can't see carrying this on my belt, so it would be definitely in the pack somewhere. But it's rather heavy, but it kind of leveled the field between RPD and RPK in a way of capacity and stuff. So.
Now, I think I read this in your book is that the light machine gun guys had to keep a close eye on their magazines.
Yes, I'm getting to it.
Okay.
Yes, if you leave something like this laying around, right, it will be gone, and there would be nobody seen anything. And then in one of the raids that you go on, you see that the guy from a different squad is sporting the 40 rounders on his AK. You would have questions, But anyway, yes, they would. And then later, the 45 rounders were, forget about it. They will be gone before you know it. But anyway, so let's talk about the organization of a squad. So Germans during World War II organized their infantry squads around a machine gun. It's basically a machine gun with 2 more guys attached to that machine gun. And then the rest of them over there with the Mausers or maybe the MP40s or 38s or whatever, just as a support, so to speak. They're the guys that would, rely on the firepower of a machine gun and then move forward as the infantry.
The Germans?
The Germans did that, yes. And
so their philosophy was to move the machine guns forward. So the infantry guys were more in support of the machine guns so they could get the machine guns forward, where the Americans and others were the opposite of that, where they used the machine guns to advance the troops.
They helped the troops to. That's right. So the
Germans were really kind of the first people to use them as an offensive weapon.
Yeah, and so therefore, I mean, if you look at their later in the war, the MG-34s were now had the bipods on them. The MG-42s already came with the bump bipods and the quick change barrels. I mean, quick, so quick that I don't know, it'll take you probably 5 seconds to do it, and it's the easiest way. And so on and so on. So now we got this RPDs and RPKs, which were truly a light machine gun, and they were issued to every infantry squad and squad level. And then the squad is one thing, so you got that you got that light machine gun, but you are lacking the hitting power or firepower of a full blown cartridge, like 30 caliber cartridge, and hence the entry of PKM. So obviously they tried to lighten the Gurinov SG gun. That didn't work. And then, it's too heavy. And then again, it was Kalashnikov who came up with the design. It's basically upside down AKM rifle. Same principle, rotating bolt. They flipped it 180, so the gun is now fed from the top. Now the trick there was how to make that belt work, right? Because all the like the German belts, the American belts, you push the round through the belt, right? MG1M, I don't even know what that is. It's not PKM though.
Bulgarian PKM.
It's
PKM in 308, or what cartridge are they firing?
It's Vickers. He's not firing any rounds right now.
That's actually PK, not PKM, because it's got the ribbed barrel. Anyway,
well, go comment on his video and tell him that he's wrong.
Who? Larry?
Yeah.
He's not taking phone calls.
He's not taking any messages these days. So.
Yeah, that's the thing. Hang on just a second. I'll get my PKM for our viewers' pleasure.
Mine, too. So even though Paul can't be here, he's here in spirit, ladies and gentlemen. So while he's getting his PKM,
Cobb and his team.
There's Paul's got some YouTube videos on the RPK.
Oh yeah,
that's the paratrooper version.
So this right here is one of my two. I have one in semi-auto, which is this one, and then I have one in full auto. All right, so this is the bell-fed.
We got to do something about your lights, Marco.
What's wrong with my lights? I got all kinds of studio lights in here.
You need more on in front of you there? You get everything behind you.
It's heavily not modified, but like modernized.
Yeah.
So I got the Zenitto
Get you fold out vertical
stuff
grip.
But basically, so this gun is, like I said, it's upside down AK. It's one of the lightest bell-fed 30 caliber machine guns in the world, probably the lightest. I believe it's close to 13 pounds lighter than the M240.
Okay.
And so it fires from
before you put all your accessories on there. It's lighter before you put all your accessories on there.
Well, I mean, okay, so it's now lighter by 8 pounds or something.
Okay.
Still lighter. And that's the thing. It allows me to put the accessories on. So it fires from non-disintegrating belt, but it's a two-stage feeding system where bolt, after firing a round, goes back and grabs the round and drops it into a feeding ramp. Then as it goes forward, pushed by recoil spring, it grabs that round and feeds it into the chamber and fires it. And then on the way back again, it extracts it from the belt, fires it forward, and so on and so on. About 700 rounds a minute. Unbelievable, great weapon. I've seen it used in anger to great effect.
Under 20 pounds is what they're saying on the stats that I'm looking at here. Is how much one weighs.
Okay. Anyway.
Sub 20 pounds.
So,
gun plus the bipod.
Right. So the bipod folds either up, forward, and that's done for mounting the gun on whatever the vehicles or whatever, or it folds backwards.
Oh,
I'm just so
just
good.
knock a tooth
so
out.
Fast I was able. In my case, it won't be able to because of the handle, but it's once you mount it on a tripod, you clip those legs into a special spring-loaded brackets, providing more stability for it.
Oh, this right here, I've got a picture of it here. Hold on. I'll show it real quick. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, see the, I'm pointing on my screen. Yeah, see the bipod is kind of turned back, and then you see it's latched into, there you go.
Right here.
So it was right out of gate, was very successful design, which is perseveres and survives to this date. So that took care of a platoon level machine gun operators. However, modern warfare showed, even in war in Afghanistan in the 80s, showed that this gun should be issued, especially in like a reconnaissance units or like special forces or something. It should be issued on the squad level along with additional RPKs. And then people squealing about, if I had the choice, I'll take the PKM.
So they were using these with RPKs in conjunction with?
Yeah.
They're using them both?
The squad would still have an RPK, but also would be additional machine gunner. Nowadays, in the modern structure, would have the PKM.
Yeah. So would the PKM be more considered a medium?
Yeah, it would be more like a medium gun.
Than a light one?
But it does have the designation of being a light machine gun for some reason. Well, because it's probably no longer crew served, right? So it's a one guy operation.
Yeah.
It's almost like having your AK with you, But
well, unless you throw it up on that tripod, then I mean, that's a lot for one dude to carry all that.
Oh yeah. But the tripod came with the straps too, so the other guy would be probably a gunner assistant would carry that.
Yeah.
And then the entire unit will take on the burden carrying the extra belts and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
And that's still
So-
shooting the 7.62 by 3.9
no, this is in 7.62 by 54.
by 54R. Okay, yeah. So bigger, heavier, round.
More power. I mean, quick changing barrels. Not as quick as, say, MGs.
Yeah,
The German, but still pretty fast.
yeah.
And
Now, when you were in service, did you use? I was gonna sorry. When you were in service, did you use both of those?
Yeah, absolutely.
You had
My group
experience
had
with.
them, all of them. Kind of weird, but most of our like NCOs carried RPKs anyway, because they're heavier, long-hitting rifles.
More ammo.
More sustained fire with a thicker, a longer barrel.
Yeah.
So, moving on, comes to 1974, and Soviets decide to, in a brilliant move, in my opinion, and for some reason, like in the U.S., majority of the people, and I'm not sure if they actually had a chance to serve in the military or not, but it seems like a consensus in the firearm, not industry per se, but let's say environment, that 7.62 round is it, and the 5.45 round is shit. Now, I'm here to tell you that it is incorrect assessment. 5.45, in my opinion, is probably the greatest fighting cartridge that ever designed by human race. It has a distance, is enough energy and hitting power. It is accurate. The recoil is negligible, to say the least. And it's 30% lighter, so you can carry more ammo into your battle if you have to.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you make your regular weekend range trips, it doesn't matter. But when you're humping your loadout up and down the mountains, I mean, that's a big deal. It's sort of like the same effect that the guy switching from, let's say M14s to M16s, or even going down to M4s.
Yeah.
Switching
out a 308 to a 5.56.
Oh yeah, and the larger capacity magazines, lighter and more easy handling guns. And again, you have all the stories about how the guys in Vietnam didn't like them. They wouldn't go through the jungle and all this stuff. I mean, it would jam and whatnot. Yeah, early on, that Indonesian ammunition was maybe the suspect or whatever. But once the ammo were more consistent, it became a pretty good rifle. Maybe you have to maintain it a little more than, let's say, an AK, but you never were issued an AK. You're coming off the M1A1
Mm-hmm.
or M14. And so I thought it was a brilliant move. It's a great thing. It gave a birth to a series of weapons that, in my opinion, outstanding weapons, and in popular opinion, one of the sexiest guns in the world, which is AKS-74U, right? Some reason they call it Krinkov. We love to take something we read in the Soldier of Fortune and then make it a thing, So anyway, enter the RPK 74, and let me grab it.
And obviously, this would make sense since
So before
the
we
AK-74s.
Podcast, me and Marty were talking, and I think I've said it before in the previous episodes, where I said if you have a wedding to go to, or you have a court appearance or funeral or something scheduled, or maybe you have to catch a flight somewhere, and then this dude with a beard comes to you and says, "Hey man, you want to shoot RPK 74 full auto?" So you drop whatever you were doing, and you go and you shoot RPK-74 full auto. It's the greatest full auto gun that was designed by human race.
That's a
You'd
bold
have
statement.
so much freaking pleasure from shooting it. Picture a 22, a plinker going full auto. That's what the RPK-74 is. So,
Andrew, why didn't we have one of these at your wedding? You're muted.
Because the ammo's too damn expensive now, Marty.
Yeah, but
No,
you work for a
it's
company.
It's like $800 a thousand.
You know a guy. You work for a company. Come on.
yeah.
Shit, man, we had any 545 and many a moon.
The gun broker's full of it. Also,
Yep.
all those
75 to $1.05 a round.
No. I mean, I made a point of not buying anything over 50 cents a round.
There's nothing available currently at that price. I was looking today.
You did?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
74 cents about as cheap as you can get it.
but I'm here to tell you that there's a container leaving leaving next week
From to
out of Azerbaijan, coming over here, a full container, 1.5 million rounds.
and who's
steel
got
case.
dibs on it?
Well, I mean, it's Tele Impacts, the importer I work with. He's a little pricey. He doesn't see he's like more of an opportunist type of guy. But I told him if you're going to offer a constant stream of supply, the price is going to go down. You're going to have to be prepared for it. And he says he knows. Yeah. But anyway, we got a source of steel case ammo now.
You're still
at
muted,
least
Andrew.
one container a month.
You're muted, Andrew. Andrew, you're muted. You're muted.
The 545 to 39, it uses a specific type of powder, and there's very few places you can get that powder. And yeah, so what ends up happening is we can't bring it into the United States using Chinese powder. We can't bring it in the United States using Russian powder. So they have to pay a much higher price for the powder into that round currently, and that's really where the pricing is causing issue for people that are trying to bring more steel case in, not from Russia. That just it's bringing the price pretty high up right now, but hopefully it'll level off. With demand, it'll level off, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think the proper price for that would be somewhere around 50 cents until this other source is developed. But this is from Azerbaijan. It used to be part of the Soviet Union, so they built those per Ghost. Ghost is the state standard. In the so it's every little bit. It should be every little bit as good as any Tula or Barnaul or something. But we'll see. Once it arrives, they send me a box, and I'll.
What's the ETA on that?
It should be either beginning of December, like first week of December. It'll come to Savannah, Georgia.
Oh, okay.
And then be distributed from that. So anyway, RPK-74 is a representative of AK-74 family. This right here is dressed in that plum furniture, but originally they came out with the laminate wood. So still a thicker, longer barrel. Still, bulged. Trunion, but the rest of it is exactly the same as a RPK, original RPK. So the switching from this to the other, I mean from 7.62 but to 5.45.
Hold it at an angle, like tilted more up to the ceiling, because the light will reflect off of it that way. Put your butt, yeah, like that. There you go.
So, and the one more addition to this thing was the cage type flash hider.
Flash hider.
And it's pretty, being small as it is, but it's pretty effective.
So between the RPK 47 and the 74, those are the main differences. Other than, obviously the ammo.
The ammo
And magazines.
and flash hider, that's pretty much it. Same the rear side, everything is pretty much same. So just because you didn't need to produce the same number of RPKs as you had to for AKs, because in the squad you would have one, and you have up to 8 or 9 AK riflemen. So the entire production of RPK was given to a factory called Molot in the city of Vatsky Polyany, a small little town. I've been there, I don't know, 7, 8 times. And that's where they produce these guns, and to this day they're making them. That's a manufacturer of a Vepr carbines.
Yeah.
So there was no steel stamped magazines produced for RPK 74. The original magazine was a Bakelite, and you could see the shield with the star in it.
Yeah.
That's the mullet mark. And then once they in the mid 80s they switched to a plum furniture, and the new magazine came out. It's kind of almost black, dark plum.
Right.
And you can bring your Kleenex box if you want. It's extremely rare magazine.
And how many rounds did that hold?
45 as opposed to 40 rounds.
Okay.
And both of this will be stolen if you're not watching them. You literally got to take your pouch and put it under your pillow in barracks. Otherwise, they'll be gone. So here comes 1990.
Did they develop a drum mag for that?
There is one now.
Okay.
And there were attempts to make one. Never passed the military testing, so they didn't issue those. But they finally made one because they made some advances in. They tried to match the AK-12 kind of development, and they came up with RPK-16. And that was actually RPK-16 was built by Izhmash, not a Molot. And it's got like a quick switching barrels. You can have a shorter barrel if you need it, longer barrel if you need it. More modern, it's got all the modularity to it. So you got the handguards with all kinds of Picatinny and whatnot. Same thing with the top cover and everything. And for that particular gun, they developed a 5.45 drum, which is very similar to the 7.62 that I showed earlier, but it's made out of plastic, and I'm seeing the footage from Ukraine. I see some of the guys using those.
Yeah.
So here comes 90s. Drop in state financing, right? So both the Molot and Izhmash had to look elsewhere to earn the buck. Hence entered the 100 series AKs, the AK-74M that was adopted by the military. But then you got the AK-101, 102, 103, 104, and 105. And what are those were basically, it's the AK-74M and the AK-105 that were in 505, AK-102, or 101 and 102 in 5.56, and then 103 and 104 are in 7.62 by 39. But other than calibers, everything was the same. Same furniture, same appearance and accessories and everything else. So in the same way, the Molot, so the idea was to sell it for export. The countries that love AKs in the past and they want to have a newer version. So here it is. So you want it in 5.56. We have this too. You want it in 7.62 by 39. We have this too. So Molot comes up with their own RPK in 5.56. Hang on a second, I'll show it.
All right. Who would have thought that they would have come out
For
with a
all intents and
5.56?
purposes, this is basically AK-74.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks exactly the same. It's got that cage, flash hider. This particular one is RPKs, so it's the folder. Actually, you can fold it. Got the folding stock. And other than that, it's exactly the same as RPK-74. The only difference is it's in 5.56 rather than a 5.45. And it's got a black furniture, an improved pistol grip, which I find it extremely comfortable. And of course, a new magazine, sort of like AK-74.
Yeah.
Little straighter, less ribs, black.
Still 45 rounds?
Still 45 rounds.
Okay. And what year did they come out with this?
Like a 1992, 91, 92 or something. Tried to sell this thing to whoever wants to buy it, I guess. You know.
So I can comment on that, actually.
Okay.
Please.
So what ended up happening was Malat and Vepper, or Malat, Vepper, the brand or whatever, and previous to Ismash as well. At that time, the U.S. was the largest market, hands down. And we weren't buying any of the Russian stuff because the Chinese stuff cost pennies. So the U.S. market wasn't willing to pay that kind of price for a brand new manufactured gun when you could get them from the Chinese for, next to nothing. Did I lose you guys there for a second?
No, yeah.
Okay.
Keep going.
Yeah, and so it was really just a commercial market situation. They produced the guns. They didn't have a customer to buy them, so they stopped producing the guns. Obviously, later on in my career at like RWC, they still had tooling. They still could make that stuff. So we constantly were trying to battle with them to get them to put it back into production. Of course, some of that stuff sort of came back into production later, but not a lot of it. But yeah, in the early 90s, they were trying to export all kinds of cool, crazy stuff, but the Chinese just priced them out of the market.
That's true. Until, who was it, Clinton, that banned all the Chinese imports?
Everybody blames Clinton, and I love to blame Clinton, but it was actually Bush.
Is there a difference?
Yeah, exactly.
Freaking, he's a picture perfect
politicians.
for Rhino.
They're all politicians.
Yeah.
Introducing our new belly band holster. Whether you're hitting the gym or running a quick errand, our belly band is one of the most comfortable and safest ways to carry your firearm. The center section allows you to carry most common pistols. Left or right-handed, this has you covered. A hard laminate trigger shield protects the firearm's trigger from unwanted intrusion, giving you ease of mind while carrying every day. 2 elastic sleeves give you the flexibility to carry other everyday items, such as spare mags, flashlight, knife, or pepper spray. 2 zippered pockets run on both sides, offering the option to carry smaller items, such as money, cards, or keys. Flush fit on your lower back or waist, easily keeping your setup discreet no matter how you choose to carry. Utilizing 3D spacer mesh, these channels allow for exceptional and efficient airflow, giving you maximum comfort and keeping you cool. Carry whenever you want, how you want, with our new belly band holster. Available now.
Go to missionfirsttactical.com. Use the code LEADHEAD for an exclusive listener-only 20% discount.
In any case, so that's my presentation today.
That's it? That's all you got?
Oh my God, I went on for an hour and a half. Poor Andrew didn't even get 2 words in.
Hey, man, I love listening to stuff like this. I'm a nerd, too. But, of course, obviously, they exported all those designs just like they did the AK-47 around the world. So you can dig and dig and dig and dig, even in the machine gun and light machine gun and squad automatic weapon type. And there's a million different versions, just like with the AK-47. So it's super interesting and cool to expand into that, on the AK Corner, because just like the AK, it's kind of a bottomless pit. You can just dig and dig and dig and learn and learn and learn. And you'll still, every once in a while, and I'm sure Marco can say this too, he'll pop into something he's never seen before. You'll be like, what the hell? I didn't know this existed. And so it's fun like that. I mean, that's why we're all into AKs. I mean, at least most of us stateside are, because it's interesting. It's not the boring, homogenized, AR world or M16 world. There's all kinds of cool stuff out there.
Oh, yeah.
So what about...
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I will just throw this in here because, as everyone out there knows, I work at Century Arms. The Romanian AES-10B is a semi-automatic version that the Romanians manufacture, and we imported Century Arms. We haven't been able to import them and haven't gotten any almost 2 years. We are getting some in December. First shipment in a very long time of AES-10Bs. It's actually an AES-10B2 now, but some slight changes there, no big deal. But they we're going to start getting those hopefully in December. So you'll see those out in the market again, which they haven't been around for a couple of years. So that'll be cool.
That would be awesome. I actually want to get one to turn into the machine gun and add it to our ROTC training fleet.
And Marty, you've shot the one at Royal Range, haven't you?
I haven't. I knew that they got one and they converted it to a full auto.
I got him one of God. When did you do the
3?
How many years ago was that?
About 3
years. Yeah. So we got that for him like 3 years ago. The last time we got him in, and that's a fun gun to shoot, man. Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I want to add it to the because it's proliferated all around the modern battlefield anywhere you go. So I want to add it to our fleet. So I'm going to have to save up all my food coupons and stuff.
Oh, it definitely got more expensive over the last 2 years, let me tell you. Like all the Romanian imports.
For sure.
Well, that kind of leads me to what I was going to ask is, the other country variants of the RPK and, all
the
the
Chinese had, I don't know what the military version of the Chinese one was, but the commercial version we brought in back in the day was the NHM-91.
Right.
I've got a couple of those, Marty, we can mess with sometime if you want.
Yeah, definitely.
And then an AS-10B, but I don't have any Russian ones.
Let me comment on that one. Okay. So at that time, in the early
early 90s, yeah.
No, early 50s or mid 50s, when Khrushchev came to power, the Soviet Union and China kind of had their relationship go sour. And I think the rumors have it that Khrushchev would not share the hydrogen bomb technology with Mao. And Mao blamed Khrushchev that he betrayed the ideals of the revolution, and so on and so on. So, although the original milled receiver AKs were exact clones of the Soviet AK-47s, the older Chinese stamped guns, as we know, Type 56, were unlicensed copies of all Chinese take on the Soviet AKM, which at that time Russians would not share any more technology with them or sell them the license. And the same thing with the, same thing we can say about the, what was it called, NMD or something?
I can't remember what the military designation. The civilian one was the NHM.
NHM 91. So it's basically, so they threw a bipod on it that didn't belong there. The barrel was shorter. I don't think it was even a bulge receiver. It was just a thicker receiver made out of thicker steel. But other than that, it was basically their take on the RPK. The next one that we know, we already talked about the Romanians, but we didn't talk about the Yugoslavian M. Do you remember, Andrew, what was the designation on Yugo version?
M78.
Hold on, my pod's just died. I'm trying to figure it out.
But anyway, so just like with the, although Yugoslavia was a socialist country based on the, proletariat, blah, blah, blah ideals, right? But Joseph Broz Tito and Joseph Stalin did not get along. And so, although Yugoslavia was the socialist country, but it was not part of the Soviet bloc, right?
The
Like,
M72,
Poland,
is that what it is?
M72.
Zastava.
And
they built their weapons platform less around fighting the West and more around fighting Russia.
well, they not necessarily,
Not
but
necessarily, but
but
they didn't have
basically.
concerns.
Basically, the Russians never gave them the license for AK. They did for SKSs, but never the AKs nor the RPKs. And what wound up happening is two Albanian border guards jumped the fence and went over the fence with their guns. And that's how the Yugoslavians got their hands on two AKs, right? Maybe AKMs at the time. And so when they sent them to Zastava, obviously the two guns was not large enough quantities to do the full reverse engineering. So they said that they liked the guns, they had the huge potential, but they need to get more. And so Yugoslavia, through the back door, wound up going to one of the friendly African countries that Russia supplied with all kinds of AKMs and RPKs. And they wind up buying 2,200 rifles, so many RPKs and so many AKs from that African country, and thus started their own M70 and M72 production program. That's how Yugo AKs came to be. And of course, they improved on certain things. Well, they thought they improved on it. They changed a few things. That's why the parts is not interchangeable, although it's clearly an AK. So, their M72 version with the ribbed barrel and stuff, with the cooling fins and stuff towards the trunnion, that's their version of it, of RPK.
Very cool. Let's do this. Let's go to listener questions now. And this episode, we've got Mission First Tactical. We're going to give away one of their large drinking containers. May not be this one, but it'll be one. I don't know which one they'll send. And then also Seal 1, we'll send you a cleaning kit. Seal 1 and done. I don't have my kit handy. I think I gave it away. I haven't found it in a couple of days. But we're going to give one of you lucky listeners a Seal 1 CLP Plus complete gun cleaning kit as well. So let's go to our listener questions now. And Mac Packing asked, and I think we already answered this, what was the first modern LMG light machine gun?
Andrew, do you want to take that one?
What was the first modern one? What does he consider modern?
I would 20th century, I would say.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, what you tell me, Marco.
I'm thinking it has to be MG34 or MG42, the German guns.
Yeah, I mean, the 42 is probably the first real modern machine,
right, because it still serves.
Yeah, I mean,
MG3,
absolutely.
I think.
Yeah, we copied it. Everybody copied that machine gun when it came out.
And I'm gonna say something really, really heretic kind of. I'm gonna make a heretic statement. Even the M60 owes its.
It's an MG42. That's what I meant. I mean, I said the Americans copied it. That's what I was.
Yeah.
Man, M60
it's got the exact same. What you call it as the MG.
Top cover.
Well, I mean, one would argue, well, it's different gas system, yes, but from trunnion to back, it's pretty much.
It's certainly. We can all agree that it's heavily influenced.
Yeah, let's put it that way. Let's not go into this.
That's the PC way to say it. It was heavily influenced.
Yeah, I agree. Yes.
Bailey Muller 80. What are the pros cons of using or not using disintegrating belts from an operator standpoint? Why might NATO and Soviet designers preferred one over the other? Personal favorite LMG is the German MG3, But if I had to carry one around for any amount of time, I'd want an RPK because mag/ammo interchangeability within my squad plus lighter weight. Honorable mention to the Polish UK M2000 if I had to carry a belt fed. It'd be that one.
Well, good choices. Although, the belt fed, it's hard to replace the power of a 30 caliber belt fed as opposed to RPK, which is intermediate cartridge. However, obviously the mag interchangeability comes into play. Now, disintegrated, non-disintegrating belts has to do with the ability to recharge the belt in the lull of a situation when let's say, enemy is regrouping, and you can reload them out of regular tins instead of, somebody will have it already in the boxes or linked and stuff. So it's a really a choice of how you manage your battlefield, what I'm saying. Because once you run out of belted ammo, that's it, the gun is useless. Whereas on the other hand, even if you have, like, let's say there's numerous people carrying a loose ammo, including, like, let's say SVD operators and stuff, and so on and so on, you can refill it, and then you can pack the loose ammo into packs and stuff, into your backpack or some pouches. You can pack a lot more loose ammo as opposed to linked ammo, and that's the only difference. And like I said, both of those have the, I guess, right to exist, is what I'm saying.
Okay. Lights out Okie Coyotes. Do you see the squad weapons ever going away, or will they continue to make them more efficient? What do you think about the Sig Sauer new squad weapon system?
I don't think that they're going to go away. There's modern warfare is nothing like was World War II or World War I, where you had this, frontal assaults with the, like regiments after regiments and whatnot. It's more, it's more of a address type of missions nowadays. And I'm thinking that that squad automatic, providing, especially being a lighter and easier to wield, like, for example, the SO that we all love to hate, or RPK for that matter. I mean, they still got a spot on the battlefield in the way of a fire support role, or fire suppression role, which can fire longer at the longer distances with the more sustained fire ability, meaning not the short bursts or semi-automatic, but actual medium to long bursts. So I'm thinking they're not going away anywhere. I mean, they would probably become more modern in the way of, or more improved in the way of being more reliable.
Yeah, and I think that's what they're, like you said, they're going to continue those weapons, but they're just going to continue to improve upon them.
Yeah, they're just going to continue to evolve, become lighter, have higher capacity, more penetration, more accuracy. I mean, it's just going to, keep going. I mean, it's definitely not leaving. I don't think it's leaving anyone's military anytime soon.
Until we get to blasters.
Yeah, until we get lightsabers and blasters.
Star Wars blasters. So
Think
what about?
It, man, even Star Wars, they got squad automatic weapons.
Yeah, they do.
Look at Chewbacca, man. Chewie's like throwing around his MG42.
My thing is, like, they teach the Star Troopers to march in formation and stuff, but none of them can hit shit. It's like the worst marksman.
Yeah, they're all over the place.
Man, I'm telling you, it's worse than Cobra.
G.I. Joe. So what do you think about the new SIG automatic rifle here, squad automatic?
Come on, me?
Either one of you, yeah. Isn't this what the Army adapted? This is their new.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been able to shoot one, so I don't have a whole lot of opinion about it. I've never even picked one up, so
Looks pretty.
I don't know a whole lot
That's
about
all
it.
I can say. Yeah, that's all I can say. It's a pretty picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They look
It
pretty.
looks
But think
cool.
about
I guess,
you know.
I'm assuming it works because they bought a bunch of them.
Yeah. Even if you drop it, I guess it works too. I don't know.
Hopefully.
Is it going to fire? I don't know. All right. Next question. Let me fix my screen. That was lights out. B. Hurst. Get down here. B. Hurst. Looks like he's got a couple of questions. Did any country ever make an underfolder RPK, or was it just a James River Armory thing? I have one, runs fine, but never seen pics of old ones.
Yeah, I think that's just something JRA made because he had all those kits. So he made a couple things that were just made up for sure. I mean, he was basically just putting RPK barrels on standard AKs. So he did a bunch of cool. I mean, they're cool. I got no problem with it. They don't mean they work. They're fine. It's just, but he wasn't building RPKs technically. He was taking kits and building all kinds of stuff with parts that they had. But good builds from what I've heard, and I've shot a few of them. They're pretty cool. They're very heavy.
Here's a
But
picture.
yeah, very cool.
He sent me.
But no, I don't know
picture.
if anyone had ever made an actual underfolder. The only ones I've seen is the full stock side folder and then the skinny wire side folder from the paratrooper version. I don't think I've ever seen an underfolder, Marco.
No, never seen one. The only folders that I've seen were of RPK 74s, even the early ones dressed in a limited furniture, and they were side folders. And with understanding that the only time that you're gonna fold your RPK stock is when you actually jump with the parachute, so the stock doesn't hit you in the jaw. Yeah.
But I will say one thing: that wire folder, or what they call the wire folder, if you shoot that thing in full automatic fire, it sucks.
Oh,
it
it
really,
does?
really sucks.
Yeah. You need to get a towel. Put a towel down or something.
I'm not a fan.
I mean, it's not good. It's not good at all. I don't even like shooting my standard Romanian side folder because it's just not that enjoyable.
All right. Next question. Come out and PLA play. Could there be? Oh, speaking of, Chandler Bing died. Could there be any more questions? No. Could there be, or is there already an RPK with a variable cyclic rate similar to what the M240 has? If not, would having that feature benefit the RPK as far as rate of fire control and barrel heat?
No need for that. I mean, the gun is designed to fire like 5 to 6 round bursts. And if the guy knows what he's doing as a machine gunner, I mean, there's a reason why there's no quick change barrels and stuff on RPKs. I mean, it's not designed for that. And the cyclical rate of RPK is about the same as a AK, which is anywhere between 6 and 7 100 rounds per minute. I don't see need for it, quite honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's my personal opinion, and I'm, not.
I mean, the only thing I could maybe see on a modernized version is if they were going to shoot it suppressed, having some sort of gas regulation. But AKs are typically, and RPKs are the same way. They're typically all over-gassed anyway. So it's not going to really be an issue. So it's one of those things where, sure, they could do it. It's easy as hell to put a regulated gas system on an AK platform. But why? It's another one of those, the solution to a problem that doesn't exist.
Right, exactly. I mean, PKM has a variable, it's got 3-position adjustable gas system, but it mainly has to do with the fouling and the temperature.
Here's a question from someone. It says, who's the new brand manager for Century Arms? The Chad Enos asked that question.
Chad Enos asked that question?
think it was a joke.
I'm slowly building a dream team, Marty. I'm slowly building a dream team.
Just come up with my price and I'll join. Brett Badal. Are any of the LMGs able to switch between mags and belts easily? Any part kits on the market today that would make a good build to bring back from the dead?
Can I mention, obviously the M249 saw claims to be able to feed out of belt and then magazine.
Yeah.
But out of magazine, not reliably. That's number one. Number two, that magazine is trash afterwards. It will be deformed. However, a few years back, I think it was a Marine Corps who ran a program of something, the mission ready something rather. It's like a beefed up AR lower, and with the upper with bell-fed ability.
Mm-hmm.
And
I've seen one like that.
Yeah, I've seen them too.
My son has it actually, and it's an awesome machine gun too.
Yeah, I've heard they run good.
So the nut sack goes into the industry term. The 100-round nut sack goes into the magazine magwell, right? Into a regular magwell, and then of course you feed in the belt. Once you run out of the belt, so there's an adapter that clicks in, and then you use your regular M249 nut sacks attached to that adapter. Once you're out of belts, you just simply eject that adapter, and then you start feeding your regular magazines in, and that works.
It's kind of like a bench block, kind of locks into the magwell, Marty.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
No.
I mean, I wish I could. Like my son was here, he would have brought it in.
So none of the RPK variants or anything like that have any capabilities like that?
No, just the strict magazines.
Okay. All right, next question. John Adams, second or third, however many eyes are there.
John Quincy?
No, John Adams the third, I think is what it is. I don't have my glasses. I know who he is. He's a regular. He says, I have had the opportunity to shoot the Negev, which I have too, and I love it. And it is a pleasure to shoot and very controllable. Always heard great things about the RPD too. My question is, which is the most reliable?
Love the question. I can only speak for RPD, which was lacks in 100% reliability compared to RPK even. But I have no appreciable experience with Negev other than having shot it a few times.
Yeah.
But I never carried it. I never, it was never in any kind of dirty environment or. I mean, I have no answer for that. Other than RPD is not RPK, which is like maybe a measurement of reliability in LMGs.
Mm-hmm. All right, Nikolai Applebnab. The RPK holds a special place in my heart, being the first full auto I've ever shot. Simple, effective. I love the fact the mags are interchangeable with your standard infantryman's mags without having to mess with belts, and just all around badass. Then there's the Negev. Cyclic rate and controllability are flat out impressive in comparison. So my question is, for logistics and simplicity, which do you all prefer, box fed or belt fed when it comes to actual combat application? Is there a place for both in the modern battlefront?
Definitely a place for both, because we talk about this in firearms all the time. Guns are tools.
Yeah.
One tool doesn't do every job.
Exactly.
So there's always going to be a place for a heavier belt-fed machine gun as opposed to a lighter weight, more mobile, lighter machine gun.
I see the lightweight machine guns, the mags being the best fit for them, and then as you go up in size in the the machine guns, then you get into the belt feds.
It depends on your environment. It depends on your mission.
Yeah.
Depends on a lot of things. You need both. You just need both.
Yeah. All right. Let's take one more here. It'll go to Glautru. Let's see. Why do some variations of the RPK have magwell dimples while others have the Wasser 10 welded plate style?
Different types of manufacturing. I mean, everybody does things a little bit different, and they change manufacturing. But same reason they made the dimples. Why did they do the dimples instead of the welding? Why did they change to the welding from the dimples and go back and forth? So it's manufacturing costs. It's different designers. It's different things like that. People will argue till the end of time which one's better. So, there's no reason to keep going with that one.
Andrew.
All four that I have here don't have dimples. Yeah. They all mullet receivers.
Yeah, none of the Russian stuff will.
Yeah, so that's the majority of the questions. I think we covered most of them. So let's do the giveaway. So who do you guys think deserves the Seal 1 package? Which question did you like for the Seal 1 package?
I don't know, man.
Some good ones.
Maybe who needs it the most? The people that run Negevs.
The ones who I think they need a little lube, a little cleaning. They get dirty. Let's see who asked.
You had 2 Negev questions.
I know, I had 2. Trying to find the first one. Yeah, I was trying to see who asked the first one. Nikolai asked the first one. The second one. You remember Nikolai, don't you, Marco? He was on with us one episode.
Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, big fan. He's a big fan. He wanted me to tell you to say hey.
All right, so, hey, Nikolai.
I'm telling you, hey.
There you go. I'm voting for Nikolai.
There you go. It sounds like Nikolai's getting that Seal 1. He brown-nosed his way right into a Seal 1 cleaning kit.
Nope, it's going to be the guy who asked it the first.
All right.
I'm trying to find it. I mean,
so just since we're on the subject, Marty, we talked about it. Maybe the next one will give away the Marcos experience.
No, we're going to talk about that. Hold on. I'll be damned. Oh, here he is. John Adams.
There you go.
John Adams III. You get Seal 1. Didn't ask Mustang Perry, because then when I put in there, I was asked, "What's your favorite LMG?" And he says, "By far, it's the BAR for me. It is definitely not the best, but just my favorite. I don't really have a question this month, but would like to know everyone's preference between all the LMGs." I like the BAR too. I mean, it's just a pleasure to shoot. It's fun to shoot. The Negev was really fun to shoot. What's the drum one that I just said?
DP-27.
Yeah, the DP-27 was. I like them all. I mean, they're all fun. I've shot saws before. Yeah, I've shot the RPDs, shot the RPKs. I like them all. I would like any of them. The one that I had would be the one that I like the most. All right, so let's give away the drinky drink. Who gets the mission first? Big gulp. Drinky drink.
There was a question about like a further development of RPKs and whatnot.
You don't want Chad to have one? You don't want Chad to win?
What was his question?
Who's the new brand manager for Century Arms?
Oh, that one.
I was feeling he may have one of those drinking vessels already.
Oh, he's got one of my AK Corner ones that I left at when we went to Sturgis.
Lucked out, huh?
Yeah. How much of the difference does the RPK know? So he asked about. I remember the question. Do you see like them continuing? Is that what it was?
Yeah, that's the one.
The squad weapons. Okay. Do you see squad weapons ever going away, or will they continue to make them more?
That's a good. Yeah, that's
okay.
Send the man a drinking
That is lights
First
out.
Tactical water jug.
Lights out, Okie Coyotes.
Speaking of Mission First Tactical, I got to see Dave a couple weeks ago.
That's what I heard. I had Raph on.
Oh, nice.
Couple episodes ago, so y'all make sure you go back and listen to that. Bursa's got a lot of new stuff on the horizon that they're getting ready to drop. 1911, a new 1911 being one of those. So,
Cool, I saw it.
Yeah, I shot it. I got to shoot it.
Excellent.
Pretty sweet. So, all right, there you go, lead heads. That's it. Appreciate everybody that took part, participating in our questions. And we'll do it again next month. Next month's going to be the AK versus the AR episode.
Dum, dum, dum.
Yeah, looking forward to that
I do
one.
have my boxing gloves ready.
Get them ready.
You won't even need them, Marco. AR gets their ass kicked every year, every time, brutally and unashamedly. We kick AR's ass every single year.
So what we're talking...
Not called the
first
AR
one for
corner.
me. I
It's
just
called
want
the
to witness
AK corner.
So, Andrew, what we're trying to put together for next year is an actual range event, AK versus AR, and do the episode at the range and actually have some, like, shooting competitions set up, like relay.
Absolutely, I love that.
Some relay.
Will they be past 100 yards?
Well, there'll be different stuff set up, yeah. So we'll have different stuff set up. So it just depends. But that's something Marco and I are working on.
I'll be running instead of in. It's not going to be an issue.
It's a relay, so you could pick your station that you want to compete in.
What was the old YouTuber Dugan? What was his name?
Oh yeah, Carnicon Dugan.
Yeah, was that Carnicon? Was that what he's called?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be very similar to his 9 versus 45 videos.
Whatever happened to him? I used to love his videos.
Several things I think happened that I heard he was like making a comeback too. He was on somebody's show not too long ago. I don't know.
You had him on your show a long time ago, didn't you?
Yeah, he was on a couple of times.
Yeah. Like early on.
Yeah, back in his early days.
Yeah.
But also another thing that Marco and I are talking about is putting together the ultimate experience, the ultimate Marco experience. So you guys throughout this year have heard Marco talk about and show, some of his toys, some of his arsenal, and I've had comments from several of you that would say, "Hey, I would love to go spend a day with Marco and just pick his brain and maybe get some trigger time with some of his guns." Well, we're taking a poll this episode. How many of you would legitimately, seriously be interested in something like that? Now, it's not going to be a free thing. Everybody would want to do it if it was free, but, like Marco said, ammo's not cheap and it's his own personal stash and it's his time. And, we're looking at maybe a 1 or 2 day, like a personal one-on-one, go up and spend some time with Marco kind of deal. If that's something that you would be interested in, email me, talkinglead@gmail.com, and let me know your level of interest. If we get enough people interested, then we'll take it further.
Also, we're talking about making sort of like a lead corner, AK corner, Talking Lead event sometime maybe in spring in the northern Ohio.
Yeah,
where we would have invite all the listeners and stuff who participated and listened, and the podcasts, and have kind of same thing. We would have
vendors set up,
30 stations set up with different types of weapons. Anything, it would be World War II experience, there would be Cold War experience, there would be modern experience, with anything from the handguns to bolt guns to sniper rifles to machine guns and things like that. And I might even be able to pull a few strings and get us my dues and the M249 and all those fancy schmancy guns as well.
Fancy schmancy.
Yeah, so when you email Marty, email with two, would love to hear both.
The interest in both of those, yeah. We're kind of taking the temperature, see if it's something that we want to, put our time and effort into. So we need a good, honest level of who would actually come to that. And I know people have different kind of schedules and stuff like that, but just say you had the opportunity, you had the means, and you had the will to do it. Would you want to do it? So just email me, talkinglead@gmail.com. Andrew's in.
Andrew's in.
I'm in. I mean, we may do it anyway. If it's just us, we may still just do it with us. But yeah.
Just to kind of drop a little hook and sinker, we got SVDS. We got Alexander Arms 338 Lapua Ulfbert, the greatest 338 Lapua rifle there is that recoils like 308. We have PPS 41. PPSH, I'm sorry. We got the DP27, PKM, AK-74s, AKSU, suppressed, non-suppressed AKMs, and so on and so on.
You got RPKs, PKMs, OPPs. We got some OPPs.
OPP, yeah, we got OPP. No, we would like to get the OPP.
Yeah, you know me. I'm down with OPP.
and like a Vitas 9mm thing, and all kinds of stuff. So we and all the complement of all the World War II stuff.
Yeah.
From,
Yeah. So that range day that we're talking about would be similar to. So for those who attended that AK Corner class that Andrew mentioned earlier that we did there in Nashville, it would be that on steroids, basically. When we try to do it outdoors, that way we'd have longer ranges and
it's a 0
more guns
to 500, and it's individual ranges lined up in one firing lane. So you got the first pavilion would be 75 yarder, the next one would be 500 yarder, the next one is 300 yarder.
Yeah.
And then the rest of them is 100 yards, but they're like individual stations.
Yeah. So really kind of like an AK Corner listener appreciation kind of range day kind of deal. It's what we're thinking about. So email me, talkinglead@gmail.com. Interest in that, and then interest in the Ultimate Marco experience. So
if they want, I can even do something that no other people can do it. I would even make the Russian military meal.
A Russian military meal.
Yeah, like lunch.
What does that consist of?
I'm gonna opt out.
You're opting out of the Russian meal.
You can march on it. It's a buckwheat with canned meat, like a stewed meat. Either beef or pork, depending on what the preferences are.
Yeah, grab you a Subway sandwich on the way that day, just in case.
Every time, during my classes in Kansas, where we had the sniper rifle, or Northern Pennsylvania, people literally, and I do it in like a cast iron pot, right, over open fire. But in this case, I'll do it over, gas stove. And the people literally grabbing that pot and they scraping the spoons to get every little bit of it.
I'll give it a run.
You need to get some bread. You can sop it up.
Of course.
Sop it up with a biscuit.
Bread and tea and biscuits, yeah.
All right, Leadheads. That's it for this episode. And then, like I said, next month is going to be the AK versus AR, our annual AK versus AR. Andrew, you going to join us on that one? You want to join us?
When is it?
Next month.
Well, email me about it.
It's next month.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure we can figure it out. We just got to get a date.
So we got to get our teams. Got to get our teams built.
There's only one team I'm going to be on, so.
So the guys from the AR-15 podcast are the AR side team. So he's building his AR team. And then I guess Marco will be the captain for the AK team. I'm the neutral.
It's first time participating. I would like to be like the what do you call it?
You're definitely going to be the captain, Marco. 100%.
Yeah, you're captain. No doubt about it.
Oh, God. The pressure.
And maybe we'll have some special giveaways for that episode, too. So until then, bone up on your AKAR battle questions, because that's kind of how we're gonna do the listener portion of it. And until then, Leadheads, as always, keep your loved ones close.
And firearms closer.
And your AKs closer.
That's right. I forgot AK Corner.
It's the AK Corner. Come on, son. Did I forget something?
Man, you got too many shows, Marty.
That's it.
Rock and roll. Excellent.
Whoa, hold your horses there. We got one more announcement to make. From our Range Day Madness episode, the winner of the Talking Lead logoed t-shirt that's got our new logo on it there. And you had to go to Rumble to be eligible for this. Comment on that video of the Range Day Madness episode. The winner is, ladies and gentlemen, Old Tennessean. Email me, talkinglead@gmail.com. I'm going to need your shirt size and your address, Old Tennessean. Congratulations. Talking Lead out.